Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'm going to look at if you are new to crypto, if either you don't yet own any cryptocurrency or maybe you own some cryptocurrency from years ago and you haven't looked at it, you haven't touched it, or potentially you're just unhappy with your crypto portfolio, you feel like you're in the wrong tokens. Maybe you're thinking that your tokens aren't really moving and everything else seems like it's moving. Everybody else seems to be making money, but you're not. This video is for you because what I want to do is I want to talk about building a crypto portfolio from today, which you can hold for the next 9 to 12 months throughout the remainder of this bull run to get some really, really nice returns. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please do smash the like on this video, hit subscribe if not done so already, and let's jump in. So I'm going to go on to screen share and let's have a look here. So obviously familiar with the Bitcoin chart. So this is CoinGecko, and we're going to start by making myself a bit bigger so you can see me. And then we are going to look through CoinGecko, and we're going to basically pick what are going to be our main holds for this portfolio. Now, as you can see, we have global cryptocurrency market cap currently 3.17 trillion. I'm expecting this to probably do a 3x, potentially a bit more, going to about 10 trillion this market cycle. So am I too late? You're probably thinking. No, the answer is you're not too late. You're still coming into the market today at a very opportune time. This is when things are about to go crazy. This is when we see really explosive moves. We get those coins that go 5x, 10x, probably higher. And this is the period of the market cycle when these gains happen. They typically happen 1 year after the halving. Okay. So, for example, when we were in the last cycle, we had the halving in 2020, and it was in 2021 that we saw a massive run up in prices, and the Bitcoin price peaked late 2021. If we look at the cycle before, we had the halving in 2016, and the market had a really big run up into 2017, and the prices topped at the end of 2017. And if I just actually go onto the Bitcoin chart so you can see this, I'll just use this on CoinGecko, then we can see where we've been here. So this was 2016, we had the halving. It would have been early 2016, around here, April, May time. And the peak came at the end of 2017. Similar, 2020, halving. Peak came end of 2021. And now, 4 years past 2020, when was the next halving? Or when was the most recent halving? It was earlier this year. So we had the halving happen, and prices now are starting to pick up, and we'd expect to see a big move up like this, a big expansion like this, up well above $100,000 per Bitcoin and up to much, much higher prices. And the reason this is happening, the reason this is all happening, and Bitcoin is following this trajectory, is that Bitcoin has a hard capped max supply of 21 million Bitcoins. There can only be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. So nobody can print more Bitcoin. Nobody can mine more Bitcoin out of thin air. These computers are working on all these different algorithms to mine Bitcoin, but it's mined to a schedule. There is a halving that happens every 4 years, meaning the mining reward gets cut in half every 4 years. So the supply is becoming less and less. But on the flip side, demand is becoming more and more. There is appetite out there for an unconfiscatable, fully transportable, fully divisible store of wealth. And Bitcoin has filled that narrative really well over the last few years. And that narrative is becoming stronger and stronger. We've got the ETFs now. We've got companies putting Bitcoin onto their balance sheet. We've got the United States saying it's going to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I mean, demand is just going to keep on going up, but the supply remains capped. So if you take nothing else away from this video, what you need to take away is that over the long run, Bitcoin number go up. It will keep on trending up. This is why the first coin I'm going to tell you to put in your portfolio is going to be Bitcoin. And I'm going to tell you to allocate 20% into Bitcoin. Now, you're probably thinking, why 20% into Bitcoin? Well, the reason that you should be putting 20% into Bitcoin and not more is that we need to go and have a look at where we are in the cycle. So this is currently where we are in this bull market. Now, if I was doing this video 1 year ago, or even 2 years ago, if I was doing it at the end of 2022, I would be saying you want to go 80%, you want to go 90% into Bitcoin. You probably want a little bit of Solana, a little bit of Ethereum. The rest you want to go all into Bitcoin. And as the cycle has developed, we've seen Bitcoin outperform, meaning we've seen Bitcoin's dominance compared to the rest of the crypto market go up. And right now, we are coming into what is a major level of resistance, because this is called a Fibonacci retracement. And typically, we find that these different levels on the Fibonacci can act as resistance, depending on whether the market's moving up or down. Of course, if we do a Fibonacci for this move, obviously we'd be looking at support levels, but obviously we are drawing the Fibonacci this way. So we're looking at resistance levels because we're going from a higher price to a lower price. You can see here that, we have found resistance at the 382. We saw a nice move off that. It then pushed through it. Same, we found some resistance at the 0.5. We consolidated here. It took a few weeks to get through, and now we're coming up to the 618. The 618 is one of the strongest levels of resistance. This 618 to 65 level is known as the golden pocket, and it tends to be a very reliable area for support and resistance when it comes to Fibonacci. So what I would be expecting is over the next few weeks and months is that Bitcoin looks to put in a top here and then starts to reject, and probably throughout the early part of next year, you see this roll over and start to fall down towards the 50% level. Potentially it goes a little bit lower. But if we just look at where we were back in 2017, we didn't actually make a new low during the last cycle. So we're actually seeing over time, potentially, that Bitcoin is going to trend up, and maybe it won't see such low prices as it has seen in the past. So I'm going to put on a trend line here, and I'm just going to move this from this low to these lows, just as a very, very rough guide. And that would sort of tell me that potentially, if we were to roll over, we could come down, I'd say somewhere between 50% and potentially call it sort of 42%. So I'd expect Bitcoin dominance to bottom over the next, or over this cycle, over the next year, between 42 and 50%. And that's probably when you want to be a little bit more careful in terms of getting into altcoins. So getting into any crypto investments that are not Bitcoin. So that's why I'm saying 20% Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has risen in dominance. And I do think at some point it will reject. And obviously when it rejects, there's going to be other cryptocurrencies that are better positioned for gains. Now, one of those cryptocurrencies that I would add as my next hold would be Ethereum. So Ethereum is number 2 market cap. The beauty about Ethereum is it has DeFi, and it has the ability for smart contracts to be coded on top of Ethereum. And the DeFi narrative really is the Ethereum narrative. I mean, Ethereum is DeFi. It's where all of the TVL is. It's where all of the major DeFi applications are based. There's many, many layer twos. It's got the ZK proof technology, and Ethereum has a lot going for it. But probably more importantly than that, it's the only other crypto asset that has a spot ETF listed in the US. So, of course, if TradFi, if traditional finance traders and investors looking to position into Bitcoin, if they think that Bitcoin has run a bit too far and they see Ethereum at a lower market cap, so obviously if Ethereum is just a fraction of Bitcoin's market cap, then they will probably look at Ethereum as being the crypto beta play to Bitcoin. So I personally think, and we can visualize this on the charts here, if we look at where Ethereum is right now, then we can see that Ethereum is below this resistance here. And if we go over to put on a trend line from the previous top, so the previous cycle highs, we can see that Ethereum is really lagging compared to where Bitcoin is. Just get that on a little bit more accurately. So if we look at Bitcoin to make a comparison here, then we can see that Bitcoin is well above its previous cycle all-time highs, whereas Ethereum is still well below its prior cycle all-time highs. And it's not even yet on this cycle's all-time highs. So for me, whereas if we were far earlier on in the cycle, I would have been saying put in 5 times, 10 times the Bitcoin in your portfolio compared with Ethereum. Now I'm actually saying I think you should put in equal amounts, because even though I do believe the narrative of Bitcoin as a store of value is a stronger narrative, that has been reflected in its price moves. Whereas I think Ethereum has a lot further to go with this bull market. And I think it will outperform Bitcoin throughout the remainder of the cycle. So Ethereum would be the second asset that I put into a portfolio. And I would go with an equal weighting. I would go with 20% Bitcoin and 20% into Ethereum. The next one on the list will be Solana. So just looking here, Solana is actually the 4th biggest crypto by market cap. But of course, Tether is a stable coin, so we can't speculate on Tether. Tether is just going to track the performance of the US dollar. So the next major cryptocurrency that I would include would be Solana. And there's a few different reasons for this. Solana is going through its breakthrough crypto cycle, where we've seen the emergence of Solana go mainstream with its ability to capture retail adoption through meme coin investments. So meme coins, really Solana has become the meme coin chain. It's become that chain that people are going to speculate on the lowest cap meme coins. There's meme coins being launched every single day, tens of thousands of them on Solana. And I really do think that the Solana adoption will continue at an accelerated rate, faster than any other blockchain this cycle. I think Solana adoption will completely outperform, and this will be reflected in the Solana price. And as we can see, Solana has broken to new cycle highs, but it's still below its all-time high at around about $265. So I am expecting Solana to catch up, and I am expecting Solana likely to outperform both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But of course, it is more risky. There have been some issues with Solana. Notably, there have been a few instances where Solana has gone down as a network. So this is just something to bear in mind when investing in Solana. It doesn't have the same TVL as, for example, Ethereum does. It doesn't have the ETF that Bitcoin and Ethereum have, but it does have momentum and it does have adoption. And therefore, I think Solana will outperform, and I would be putting 20% of a new portfolio into Solana. So just coming back to CoinGecko here. So that covers our majors, and obviously 2020, that's 60% in our major coins. And as we come down this list, a lot of these coins I would stay away from. XRP, it's an old cycle coin. It doesn't have any use case, in my opinion. The use case, or what the marketing men like to tout XRP as, is this cross-border payment asset that the banks are all going to use to essentially avoid fees on cross-border payments, avoid long settlement lags. I mean, this narrative, when XRP first came out, this narrative was great because no one had heard of it before. And it was something new, it was something breakthrough, it was something innovative, and it was something that we thought that the banks could potentially pick up and run with. But unfortunately, the narrative has just flopped because we've seen big banks such as JP Morgan come up with their own blockchain, with their own coin, with their own JPM coin. So what's to stop the banks just internally creating their own blockchains and moving value from bank to bank between themselves with their own currencies, with their own digital assets? Why are they going to use XRP's digital asset? Long story short, they're not. So I would avoid XRP. I think Dogecoin would have been a great buy a few weeks ago, pre-election. I think it's run too hard now. I would also avoid things like Cardano. I think they were fantastic projects for the last cycle, but they have a lot of bag holders. This goes for XRP as well. There's a lot of both XRP and Cardano holders that are stuck in very, very offside positions that are likely to want to sell as soon as they get back to break even, which is going to make it very, very hard for either of these tokens to get back to their all-time highs. And that goes for many of these tokens as well. Avalanche is one that I quite like. I don't have a big issue with Avalanche. Shiba, I think there's newer memes that will outperform, with Shiba being an old cycle meme. Sui, I like as well. Sui is actually one of my altcoin picks for this cycle. And I think it could be included in a smaller percentage in the portfolio. But right now, in terms of number 4 in the portfolio by weighting, I'm actually going to say Pepe. And the reason that I'm saying Pepe is that I believe Pepe still has enormous potential for growth this cycle, and it completely hits the meme narrative. Not only that, it hits multiple narratives within the meme narrative, which are the boys club narrative and also the frog narrative. And also it's got listings absolutely everywhere now. It's on Binance, it's on Coinbase, it's on eToro, it's even on Revolut. It really has all the listings of those exchanges that retail are going to be able to come in and pick this meme up on. And of course, if we look at the market cap, okay, we've got 8.8 billion, which does sound large, but when you've got Dogecoin trading at over 50 billion market cap, you can see there is still potential there for Pepe to really outperform. And if we just go back over to the charts, obviously, even myself, I'm starting to now cover Pepe on my daily streams. I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Pepe from now on a daily basis. Why? Just because I think Pepe is so important to cover. It is for me, it maybe isn't yet, but I see it being the Bitcoin of the meme coin space. I see it as being the leader of the meme coin space. The whole meme coin market, I expect at a point in the future, will follow Pepe. And I would most definitely be positioning into Pepe this cycle. I think it's a very high conviction cycle hold. And I would be looking to allocate another 20% into Pepe to give me my meme coin exposure. So just to recap, we are putting 20% into Bitcoin, 20% into Ethereum, 20% into Solana, and 20% into Pepe. Okay. That leaves us with another 20% to invest. And what I propose doing with that final 20% is putting it into a basket of altcoins. Now, I am going to go through this top 100 list here, and I'm going to basically talk about the types of meme coins that, or sorry, the types of altcoins that I would consider putting that final 20% into. But what I would do is of that 20%, I would put 10% into meme coins, into high conviction meme coins. So on my channel, I recently made a video showing my very, very high conviction meme coins. Go and check it out, because that is going to give you the picks that I would put the remaining 10% of the remaining 20% into. So I would look at that. There's also a video that I've done on low cap Ethereum picks and low cap Solana picks. If you are somebody that is a bit more experienced and can handle the volatility of going into lower cap tokens, then potentially you could spread some of that last 10% between some lower cap meme coins as well. And then for the other half of that 10% from the remaining 20%, I would go into some altcoins. And I'm going to do another video on altcoins next week, showing you my highest conviction altcoins for this cycle. So this will not include the majors. This doesn't mean the meme coins that have already been covered, even though some of those are on my leverage account where my altcoins are held. So a couple of those might be revisited, but this is really around altcoins that I've not yet spoken about on any of my videos, and altcoins that I believe should be on your radar and potentially should form part of a bull market portfolio, especially at this point of the cycle where obviously we've discussed that Bitcoin dominance is about to go down. So just running through the top 100 coins, because a lot of them are going to be in the top 100. Like I say, these are high conviction altcoins. These are not altcoins that we are taking gambles on. Again, we are not gamblers here. We are investors. We're not wanting to, come down the casino and start putting our money down on red or black. We are investing in these coins that we know are going to perform well over the next few months, okay? Because they have some adoption, they have some attention, they have a decent market cap already, which means they've got serious investors already on board, and they are likely to perform well. So running down this list, obviously excluding the ones we've already talked about, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, obviously we've got Pepe a bit further down. The first one I would be interested in would be AVAX. I think AVAX has a very, very good chance of doing well this cycle. It has a very strong gaming narrative. I know it's a coin that Becca likes to talk a lot about due to that gaming narrative. And I just think AVAX has been absolutely slept on. And it can really perform. I mean, it can really, really perform. I've always said it's been correlated to Solana. Obviously, Solana's absolutely broken away, and it looks like Solana's making its way back to its previous all-time highs. Once Solana gets there, I really think AVAX will be a catch-up play to Solana, and I really see it performing well over this cycle. Maybe it gets to its previous all-time highs. Maybe it goes a little bit higher. Maybe it falls a little bit short. Obviously, there has been quite a lot of inflation on AVAX and things like unlocks. So that would be one that I'd be adding in. Another one here would be Sui as well. So Sui is meant to have very good technology. It's built on the Move programming language, which I believe is a derivative of the Rust programming language, which Solana's built on. Move is meant to be a little bit more developer friendly, and it's just getting a lot of hype and a lot of attention right now. People are saying it could be the next Solana. My issue with adding Sui as a larger holding, as one of the high conviction holdings, is that it's just run hard already. So I don't think Sui is going to do more than a 10 or 20x this cycle. Something like a Pepe, I think, still can do a decent multiple and is very high conviction. But I think for the other holds, I think we need to look elsewhere. But I do think that Sui should probably make up a smaller percentage of the portfolio, and I still expect it to perform well. I'd also be looking at Chainlink, just because Chainlink is a crypto, or a project at least, with extremely high use case. And Chainlink have been talking about things like Chainlink staking and trying to make more utility for the token. And Chainlink have one of the smartest teams in crypto, is probably one of the most important projects in the crypto space, connecting real world applications to blockchains through its Oracle solutions. So I would definitely put in some Chainlink. Obviously, we've already got Pepe in there. I would put in some Near protocol. It has the AI narrative exposure, which I think will really take off. And look, we started to see, you know, Near really started to take off over the last few days as well. Aptos is the main competitor to Sui, really, when the Facebook's Libra, or DM team, as they're more recently known as, actually split up, and that project got shelved by Facebook. The team kind of split into two. Half went off to do Sui, half went off to do Aptos. As we see, Sui is nearly 3 times bigger than Aptos in terms of fully diluted market cap. I think Aptos is a good one for a catch-up trade. So a lot of these are older last cycle tokens. I mean, Stellar is basically a rip-off of XRP. I don't think it's going to do anything. Dog with Hat potentially is something to put into your meme percentage that I talked about if you're looking to split the final 20% in half. Casper, proof of work blockchain, pretty muted price performance over the last couple of weeks, whilst the rest of the market's been taking off. Casper hasn't been doing so well, but I do expect Casper to come good. So Casper would definitely be one of those altcoins that I would have in that final 10%. I think FET could do quite well as well. Obviously, AI narrative. I do expect the AI narrative to run at some point. You've got Stacks, Bitcoin Layer 2, which I think could also perform well off the back of Bitcoin doing well. Bonk is probably one to look at for the meme coin allocation. You've got Render that I like. You've got Injective that I like. You've got Say that I like. You've got Mutable X that I think is worth a mention as well. This is sort of going into the gaming narrative. Celestia, Optimism, Phantom. I mean, Mantra. I mean, many of these tokens now are starting to get sort of into the second half of the top 100. There's quite a few here that I think have the potential for good gains. I think looking at many in the top 50, I think we're seeing like some sort of older coins, some more zombie chains that I think have had their day, and I expect a lot of that top 50 to get replaced this cycle with coins in the second 50, so from 51 to 100. Thor Chain I like as well. I think that can do really well. Brett as a meme coin. What else have we got here? I think Pyth as a competitor to Chainlink could do well. Ondo I quite like, but it's got fairly high inflation. I like Arweave as well. I think Arweave has been struggling performance-wise, price-wise, but I do expect it to catch up soon. So I think Arweave's a really good entry, similar to Casper in that regard. Gala I'd probably leave alone. I think there's better gaming projects. I think Beam is a better gaming project. And then really we've got Jasmine and Mog that I think in terms of the altcoin, sorry, the meme coin allocation are worthy to consider. And that's probably it for the top 100. So I think a lot of the altcoins that I'm invested in and that I'm going to do a video in are actually covered in those ones that I've just mentioned there. So just to finally recap this video, let me just stop sharing. And yes, so just as a recap, this video, we've talked about creating a portfolio if you are new to cryptocurrency, or if maybe you've had some cryptocurrencies in the past and they've not completely performed. We've talked about an allocation, 20% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 20% Solana, 20% Pepe, and then 20% in other altcoins, with that final 20% split in half between meme coins and altcoins, so 10 and 10. And obviously, we've talked about the first four names in quite a lot of detail, and we've also given some ideas for the final 20%. So I'm going to leave it there. If you want more ideas of what to put in that final 20%, you've got my high conviction meme coin video. You've also got my lower cap Solana and Ethereum meme coin pick videos. So go and check those out for ideas. I'm going to be making a video very soon on altcoins for that final 10% of altcoins. However, like I say, many I've just covered now in this video. I hope that that's been useful to you. If it has been, please do smash the like on this video, subscribe if not done so already, because there's going to be loads more really interesting content coming your way over the next few weeks. I've got some great ideas for some more videos. Like I say, there's going to be meme coin videos dropping every single week from now on. There's going to be a lot more videos being done on the altcoins, and there's going to be some other interesting ideas that I look forward to sharing with you very soon. So yes, I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak to you again on the next one.